So, let's start, right? Okay, good. Okay. Ja. Wir werden wieder tanzen. We will dance again. Good evening, guten Abend. As the director of Hebbel am Ufer, the mothership of the festival Tanz im August, it is a great pleasure to welcome you in this year's festival to this special edition, as we call it. Denn dieses Jahr ist doch alles anders als sonst. After my short welcome in German and some English too, wird unser Senator für Kultur und Europa, Dr. Klaus Lederer, eine Begrüßung auf Deutsch sprechen, wonach ich kurz mit ihm in Dialog trete. Und die künstlerische Leiterin des Festivals, Virve Sutinen, wird uns mehr über diese zehntägige Special Edition erzählen, in English, and will also guide us through this evening. One world, one virus, 1,000 shades of harm. So brachte Bini Adamczak es auf den Punkt. Gerade im Angesicht des Virus, das in jedem Winkel des Planeten als immer das Gleiche auftritt, tritt die Ungleichheit der einen Welt hervor. Corona als Brennglas. Die Pandemie hat in den letzten Monaten nicht nur alle gesellschaftlichen Gewissheiten und bestehenden Strukturen herausgefordert, sondern auch das Theater an seine Grenzen gebracht. In seinem Text vom Virus lernen plädiert der Philosoph Paul Preciado dafür, diese Brüche nicht als Begrenzung wahrzunehmen, sondern als Potenzial für eine selbstgewählte Mutation. Das Hebbel am Ufer nimmt dies als Ausgangspunkt, um die einst geltende Normalität in Frage zu stellen und sich für eine Reihe von Transformationen zu öffnen. Und das ist genau, was das Team von Tanz im August als erste so großartig gemacht hat. Zusammen mit den vielen Künstlerinnen, für die das immer schon Problematische an der Normalität einen wichtigen Treiber für ihre Arbeit war. Natürlich wollen Künstlerinnen und auch wir nichts lieber als spielen und tanzen und danach quatschen und trinken und uns berühren. But hey, they and also we want to stay with the trouble and find new ways of working together, without taking risks with the audience's or artists' health and safety. And thus, in the spirit of mutation, the Tanz im August team took up the challenge of piecing together an entirely new festival that is built from proposals by the artists in the original lineup. Never before the exchange with colleagues from dance and summer festivals across Europe and artists from all over the continent has been so intense, speaking about experiences and concerns, discussing the different perspectives of international collaborations and touring, looking for new ways of working together in an uncertain future. Ein Gewinn. Vieles, was jetzt aus diesem Ausnahmezustand entsteht, wird uns bleibend begleiten. Andere Formen des grenzüberschreitenden, translokalen Austauschs tun Not. As Preciado says, contrary to what one might imagine, our health will not come from a border or separation, but only from a new understanding of community with all living creatures, a new sharing with other beings on the planet. We need a parliament not defined in terms of the politics of identity or nationality, a parliament of vulnerable bodies living on planet Earth. Die Mutation hat angefangen. Auch hier in diesem Raum, das Studio in H2, das wir jetzt ruhig das HTV-Studio nennen dürfen, und die digitale Bühne, die wir jetzt intensivst bespielen und Sie hoffentlich intensivst besuchen werden, gerne auch live beim Public Viewing auf dem Rasen vor dem H2. Ich mache so, weil da ist es. Und after the festival, look out for H4, our new digital stage. Tanz im August Special Edition 2020 ist das Ergebnis einer gemeinsamen Anstrengung von vielen Menschen. von KünstlerInnen, ManagerInnen, ProduzentInnen, KuratorInnen und vor allem auch TechnikerInnen. Hallo, ihr alle. ProduzentInnen, deren Einsatz es zu verdanken ist, dass wir ein mutiertes Festival digital und analog präsentieren können, sowie auch von Schriftstellerinnen, DenkerInnen, Podiumsgästen und Moderatorinnen, deren Anregungen uns dazu inspirierten und andere Präsentationsformen zu erarbeiten. Dafür bedanke ich mich sehr herzlich bei allen. To conclude, we are extremely grateful to our public funders, the Hauptstadt Kulturfonds, Culture Capital Fund, and the Senate Department for Culture and Europe of Berlin, who allowed us to compensate our artists and move forward with plans for this special edition. Ich freue mich sehr, dass du da bist, lieber Klaus Lederer, und dass du jetzt zu uns sprechen wirst.
Sehr geehrte Frau Vanackere, liebe Annemie, sehr geehrte Frau Sutinen, liebe Virve, liebe Freundinnen und Freunde des zeitgenössischen Tanzes, was hätte gewesen sein können in diesem Sommer 2020? Wir hätten die 32. Ausgabe des Tanz im August, des wichtigsten internationalen Festivals des zeitgenössischen Tanzes in Deutschland erlebt, wenn sich nicht das Coronavirus in unser aller Leben Bahn gebrochen hätte. Nun, wir hätten Leo Moro auf der Bühne gesehen, Boris Schamatz, Robin Orlin. Wir hätten die Schönheit des Rikscha-Fahrens erlebt, lebendige Bilderschlachten, intime Begegnungen zwischen Mensch und Maschine und die Avantgarde des Flamenco. Es wäre der 7., nicht der 21. August gewesen, an dem ich Sie und euch hier im Rahmen der Eröffnungsveranstaltung des Festivals Tanz im August hätte begrüßen können. Wir hätten uns in diesem Theatersaal geteilt, nicht die Zweidimensionalität des Bildschirms. Dicht an dicht hätten wir gesessen und gemeinsam applaudiert. Die Bewegungen der Bühne hätten uns, das Publikum, in Bewegung versetzt. Wir hätten die Gemeinschaft realer Körper erlebt, die Kopräsenz von Performenden auf der Bühne und ZuschauerInnen im Publikumsraum. Die zur 32. Ausgabe des Tanz im August geladenen KünstlerInnen wären aus ganz Europa, Kanada, den USA und Südafrika angereist. Ein Programm, eine Festivalerfahrung, die wir so nicht erleben werden. Das geplante Bühnenprogramm für Tanz im August 2020 musste unter den gegebenen Umständen abgesagt werden. Unter eben diesen gegebenen Umständen lässt sich die Entwicklung von Uraufführungen mit PerformerInnen aus der ganzen Welt und das Touring internationaler Gäste nicht vereinbaren. Das alles sagt der Kopf. Doch dem Herz fehlt all das. Die Corona-Pandemie zwingt uns alle zu Einschränkungen und das trifft die Kultur insbesondere und besonders hart. Die Krise verdeutlicht, dass Kunst und Kultur im Leben vieler existenziell ist. Und so faszinierend die Möglichkeiten unserer digitalen Welt, unserer digitalen Gegenwart auch sein mögen, das Publikum vermisst das Live-Erlebnis. Das geht mir ganz persönlich auch genauso. Ich vermisse die Energie, die sich zwischen Bühne und Publikum während einer Aufführung entfaltet. Ich vermisse das Wir, das im Theaterraum entstehen kann. Ich vermisse in meinem derzeit recht digitalen Alltag Gleichzeitigkeit. Den Tanz trifft die Coronavirus-Pandemie zusätzlich auch auf noch einer anderen Ebene. Die tänzerische Praxis ist ein körperliches Ereignis, das nur bedingt mit Abstand funktioniert. Sie ist maßgeblich international ausgerichtet. Neues Bewegungsrepertoire wird zumeist im Rahmen von Residenzen entwickelt, für die man an andere Orte reist. Um das Nachleben eines Stückes zu sichern, geht man auf Tour. Die Krise offenbart einmal mehr, unter welch prekären finanziellen Verhältnissen Kunst zumeist geschaffen wird. Kulturelle Ankerinstitutionen wie das Hebbel am Ufer, das seit 2013 das Festival Tanz im August in alleiniger Verantwortung veranstaltet, stärken und sichern das individuelle Wirken von TänzerInnen und ChoreografInnen. Daher ist es mir ein großes Anliegen, angesichts der Corona-Pandemie neben dem auf den Weg gebrachten Soforthilfemaßnahmen, von denen individuell Kulturschaffende profitieren, auch die divers und dezentral gestalteten Strukturen der Berliner Kulturszene nachhaltig zu sichern. Das internationale Festival für zeitgenössischen Tanz, Tanz im August, bildet eine solche Unterstützungsplattform für sowohl internationale KünstlerInnen als auch für die lokale Tanzszene Berlins. Tanz im August ist daher einer der Förderschwerpunkte des Hauptstadtkulturfonds und beweist Jahr um Jahr in ungebrochener Innovationskraft erfolgreich seine Stellung als eines der bedeutendsten Festivals für den zeitgenössischen Tanz in Deutschland und Europa. Was mir die Krise auch vor Augen führt, ist die Tatsache, dass sich mehrjährige Förderungen in der Kultur auszahlen. Und so freut es mich, dass die 2018 ausgesprochene 4-jährige Förderzusage für das Festival Tanz im August im Rahmen des Hauptstadtkulturfonds und die institutionelle Förderung unserer Kulturverwaltung in einer Zeit ohne Planungssicherheit dennoch auch die Chance zur Verschiebung von Gastspielen ermöglicht. Und so komme ich von dem, was hätte gewesen sein können, auch kurz zu dem, was wir erleben werden. Ich möchte Virve da jetzt nicht groß vorgreifen, aber mit der Special Edition 2020 beweist Tanz im August einmal mehr seine Innovationskraft, auch in kurzer Zeit und unter widrigen Bedingungen ein Alternativprogramm, ein Festival auf die Beine zu stellen. Und das Gleiche gilt für die beteiligten KünstlerInnen. So zum Beispiel William Forsyth oder das Performance-Kollektiv LIGNA. In beiden Produktionen wird der Tanz von der Bühne in die Körper der Zuschauenden wandern und schließlich in den Stadtraum Berlins. Das Erschließen neuer Räume ist Pflicht, wie eben erwähnt, die Körper des Publikums, den öffentlichen Raum der Stadt, aber auch vermehrt den digitalen Raum. Und um das vorwegzunehmen, digitale Streaming-Dienste werden das Bühnenereignis nie ersetzen können. Und doch werden sie es ergänzen und erweitern. Und dank der digitalen Technik, auch von mir vielen, vielen Dank an die ganz fleißigen MitstreiterInnen, ist es in dieser Festivalausgabe möglich, die Distanz zwischen dem Zürcher Theater Spektakel und dem Hau Berlin zu überbrücken und eine gemeinsame Konferenz über die Zukunft internationaler Zusammenarbeit in den darstellenden Künsten zu realisieren. Die Corona-Pandemie verweist uns eben auf diese virulenten Themen. Wie wollen wir eigentlich zukünftig zusammenarbeiten in einer global vernetzten Welt? Und wie können Tanzschaffende, deren tänzerische Praxis maßgeblich durch Internationalität geprägt ist, auch in Zukunft international mobil sein angesichts der Nachhaltigkeit und der Maßgaben des Infektionsschutzes? Und damit stellt sich auch die Frage nach der Digitalisierung unseres Lebens. Wie viel Digitalisierung verträgt eigentlich jeder? Wie viel Digitalisierung vertragen unsere Sinne? Wann verbinden und wann trennen uns die digitalen Möglichkeiten voneinander? Ja, Tanz im August 2020 wird uns nicht zusammenbringen, jedenfalls nicht in einem Theatersaal, und wir werden kein Wir hier und jetzt und an diesem Ort bilden. Und doch bilden wir es im virtuellen Raum. Vielleicht erreichen wir dort Menschen erstmalig, erschließen uns ein neues Publikum. Das wäre meine große Hoffnung, durch die Möglichkeit des digitalen Streamings Menschen zu erreichen, die bislang vielleicht keine eingefleischten Fans des zeitgenössischen Tanzes sind, sondern denen der Besuch einer Tanzveranstaltung bislang eher fremd war. Das könnte die Digitalisierung ermöglichen, Zeiten und Räume zu überbrücken und womöglich auch Berührungsängste zu überwinden mit einer Kunst, deren Sinn in erster Linie in der Sinnlichkeit liegt. Ich jedenfalls freue mich darauf, dass durch die digitalen Adaptionen des Tanz im August-Programms auch die Arbeitsprozesse hinter den eigentlichen Vorstellungen gezeigt werden. Einblicke, die im normalen, im klassischen Aufführungsformat doch zu oft im Verborgenen bleiben. Die 32. Ausgabe des Festivals Tanz im August erprobt neue Räume und zeigt, getanzt werden kann analog, digital und nicht zuletzt in der eigenen Imagination. Ich wünsche uns allen nun einen berührenden, einen ganz besonderen, schönen Eröffnungsabend. Vielen Dank.
Vielen Dank, Klaus. Damit sind wir fast geöffnet. Ich habe so diesen Begriff von der Mutation so nach vorne gebracht. Und ich würde dir gerne mal fragen, welche Resonanz dieser Begriff bei dir hat. Und vielleicht auch daran, ich gebe schon eine Richtung vor, was ist eine gewünschte Mutation für dich als Senator für Kultur und Europa?
Also ich habe sofort an den Begriff Transformation gedacht, den ich mit solchen Prozessen verbinde, weil beim Begriff der eine Mutation geschieht gewissermaßen von alleine. Eine Transformation muss bewirkt werden. Und es geht ja darum, einzugreifen, gesellschaftliche Verhältnisse zu ändern. Und das fängt eben an bei all dem, was wir jetzt gerade auch erleben, was vor der Krise schon nicht funktioniert hat. Und der Wunsch nach der Rückkehr in eine Normalität sollte aus meiner Sicht nicht der Wunsch zur Rückkehr in eine Normalität sein, die vorher schon nicht funktioniert hat. Also denken wir an die Arbeitsbedingungen und Lebensbedingungen vieler Menschen, älterer Leute, die wochenlang, monatelang im Grunde in Isolation waren, derjenigen, denen Beifall und Applaus gespendet wurde, deren Lebens- und Arbeitsbedingungen aber nach wie vor keine besseren sind, die Leute, die in den Tönnies Fleischfabriken die Schweinehälften zerlegt haben und dergleichen mehr. Also es geht nicht um moralische Anklage, sondern für mich geht es eigentlich darum, Menschen stärker in die Situation auch zu versetzen und zu empowern, einzugreifen in diese gesellschaftlichen Zustände und manches des Aufatmens über die Entspannung, von der wir nicht wissen, wie lange sie anhält, war mir fast schon ein bisschen zu viel Aufatmen, weil wer spendet heute noch Applaus, geschweige denn redet darüber, was eigentlich alles schiefgelaufen ist. Ja. Nur im Gesundheitssektor, aber auch in vielen anderen Sektoren.
Also du würdest das Motto von der chilenischen Widerstandsbewegung unterschreiben, wir wollen nicht zurück zur Normalität, denn die Normalität war Teil des Problems. Das Richtig. Können wir aufrechterhalten und gucken. Noch eine Frage über Internationalität. Das Festival Tanz im August ist in sein DNA ein internationales Festival, so ist es auch gegründet worden in 1989 und das tat auch Not damals, um die Stadt zu öffnen. Wir wollen natürlich anders international arbeiten, auch wegen Klimanotstand. Zugleich wollen wir nicht nur uns zurückfalten auf unseren eigenen Nabel sozusagen. Wie siehst du das als vor allem Senator für Europa, wie diese Internationalität irgendwie aufrecht gehalten werden kann?
Also es wird immer auch Begegnungen zwischen Menschen brauchen und in einer globalisierten Welt ist es schlechthin nicht denkbar, dass Menschen einander überhaupt nicht mehr begegnen. Aber
in Berlin ist man eigentlich auch schon,
die
Hälfte
kommt. Sehr internationalen, natürlich Richtig. Ist man in einer wunderbar internationalen Stadt, aber schauen wir uns um, woanders ist der Trend eher zu Gleichförmigkeit und Homogenität.
Richtig.
Aber naja, also für manche Dinge wird man auch gegebenenfalls auch den Flugverkehr brauchen, aber man muss halt nicht wegen jedem Geschäftstreffen, genauso wenig wie wegen jeder Vorabsprache für eine Probe durch die Welt reisen. Aber natürlich ist es auch zukünftig so, dass Künstlerinnen und Künstler einander begegnen müssen. Das wird auch stattfinden, aber wir erleben es ja selbst im Augenblick. Ja? Also in meiner Verwaltung war Digitales und Homeoffice so eine Geschichte, das hat man mal gemacht in der allergrößten Not. Jetzt haben wir in der Not begriffen, dass man aus der Not auch eine Tugend machen kann. Ja. Und vielleicht fangen wir an, einfach etwas intensiver zu reflektieren, was ist wirklich nötig und was ist nicht nötig.
Das meine ich mit Mutation, dass wir uns gleich so langsam ein bisschen mutieren in so eine neue Zeit.
Sehr gerne.
In einem Satz, was ist Tanz für dich?
Tanz ist für mich Sinnlichkeit, Tanz ist für mich etwas, was auf mich überspringen muss. Und das hat bisher auch immer funktioniert, wenn ich da war. Und nächstes Jahr wird das auch wieder funktionieren.
Aber Virve wird uns bestimmt auch das überspringen lassen, auch mit dieser Special Edition. Virve. Danke, Klaus. Wir hören jetzt gerne Virve an.
Thank you. So, Dr. Klaus Lederer, dear Annemie Vanackere, the captain of the mothership, I would say. So this year's festival, Tanz im August, it is truly a special case. It is an experiment into how to stay relevant and how to stay connected to our audiences in this new time. It is also an experiment of how to produce an international festival with social distancing, with traveling restricted or altogether banned, when premieres are cancelled and tours have fallen apart. Pretty much everything we are dependent on to put together an international festival. So this year's Tanz im August is, as I said, an investigation. It is an investigation into the ways of moving forward into this new reality, moving into this unknown, moving into that unknown together with the artist and together with you, dear audience members. We have, first of all, when we were doing the program, we prioritized the security and safety of everyone. This is why we took the early decision of not to have performance scene in closed spaces. This doesn't mean that the game was over. Normally, Tanz im August receives end products. We are presenting works that are already premiered somewhere, coming from somewhere, and have finalized works. This year, we did the opposite. After the original lineup was cancelled, we commissioned. We started producing. We built digital and physical environments like never before to be able to accommodate the proposals coming from the artist. Together with the artist, we have worked to test new formats, how to keep up doing what we do in this new reality. This means we are all throwing ourselves into deep end of the pool, not quite knowing what is ahead of us. We are totally out of our comfort zone, but we do our best to be with you for 10 days in this festival. And by knowing that this is by no means a substitute to what could have been. This is not a substitute. This is a whole new festival, and we might want to make this festival happen as something special, something memorable. We are presenting artists from the original lineup and many more who joined us afterwards. We are proud to present 40 different artists coming from all continents, and this is quite a bit of work that was done in the last couple of months. We are presenting the program in two different lines that highlight artistic imagination as a powerful force in this present situation. The first one is Meet the Artist. This is a series of events presenting artistic contributions online and in public space. Here, artists give us a rare insight into their practices. They take us into their studios, into their processes, and let us understand where the things that we value so much on stage are coming from. This year, the audience members, dear audience members, there's work for you to be done also. It is you who have to move this time. It is you who have to dance, and you can do that either home or in the outdoor. It is really a special way to connect to the artistic practices and ideas. And it is up to you this time to interpret the scores, follow the instructions, or just, if you wish, lay down and let dance take over your imagination. The freedom to reinterpret and recreate is there for everyone this time. This year's festival is an exceptional show of collaboration and building trust. This trust has been built between us and our funders, between us and our artists, who we worked closer than ever, and between the whole sector. The way festival community has been working together in solidarity to be able to support the artists in these hard times is exceptional. And if that is any indication what the future will be like, I don't think we need to worry about a lot. I do hope that this new collaborative, less competitive attitude can benefit the whole sector in the end. There's one line of thought that I would like to leave you with, and it is something that has followed us from the beginning of the process. In our discussions with the artist after the cancellation, and in many other discussions, the process of listening came up time after time. It became the red line that we followed putting together the festival, the act of listening. Not just to listen, but to actually improve our listening skills. Reflective, empathetic, and active. The future might be unknown, full of surprises, but we are positive about that the answers, they can only be found together. One thing we know, the future of performing arts, it should be more inclusive, more accessible, and its diversity considered self-evident. I would like to invite everyone to think of Special Edition as a necessary exercise for the future. There are already takeaways from this experiment. And in the coming days, we will learn about how to be better, for sure, how to better serve the needs of our widening audience. As you know, every experiment has its ups and downs. We are truly diving into this with open arms. Tonight, we meet here in the Tanz im August studio. And this will be where we are every day. We meet here in the beginning of our program, and we will say good night to you from here. We are located where the Bibliothek im August used to be. So we are upstairs in How 2, and where the restaurant used to be is now the bibliothek. So, because the bibliothek has been a big part of our intellectual discourse in this festival, we are very happy that it's up and running for the festival every day from 4 o'clock till 10 o'clock in the evening. You might want to look at the restrictions in our homepage, but pretty much it's open every day, and the books there, which can be seen behind me if the picture becomes a little bit bigger. Some of the books are here with us today to show that the fun thing that we can connect moving artists and moving bodies into literature and literal references. So with these words, I would like to ask you to join us, have an open mind, have a jolly time, and 10 days full of program. You are so welcome to Tanz im August this year. And I think we take a little drink.
This is for you. Happy festival. Happy special
festival.
edition.
Thank you.
It's going to
Cheers.
start. Cheers to everybody. Sehr schön.
And now we go straight into what the studio will look like every evening. Away with the champagne classes. Now it's going to be hard work. And our first guest in the studio is coming from LIGNA. So Ole Frahm will be with us in a moment. He will be actually here in the studio with the distance talking to me about their new work. And after that, we will have Jaamil Olawale Kosoko, straight from Philadelphia, online, and he will tell us a little bit about his new work that will be with us on Sunday. So stay online, come back, take a little break. We'll be back in a bit. So welcome to the studio. Ole, you are our very, very first guest.
I'm pleased.
So LIGNA, a German company, is opening our studio. So I'm very happy to have you here. Despite that, you just had the premiere of the work that we will have in Berlin, Dissemination Everywhere. We will discuss more about it later. But at this point, I think we would like to show the short trailer that just came from Zurich, the Theaterspektakel, where this premiere was on 16th of August.
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Sie hören
This is
Edna Jane.
Michael
Masnad from
Bristol.
Nice to meet you.
und Sie hören nicht allein.
Close your eyes.
Diese Stimmen choreografieren die folgende Stunde.
With your eyes closed, slowly take a step forward.
Forward and backward.
Stimmen, die Sie mit Ihrem Körper auffangen.
Right, right, to left, left, to
Auf der
right,
Suche
over right,
nach einem globalen Körper,
to
der
left,
nicht einer ist, sondern viel.
And try to tap on your left leg in contratempo.
Then, starting from the floor under your feet, feel the vibration that will slowly rise through your body. Your knees shake. Your hands start to rise. Arms are now straight up, palms forward, vibrating, strong.
Eine schutzlose Geste.
Pause. Alle Muskeln arbeiten an der Pause.
Let's think about ourselves and know the people around us. Throw those shoes into the air as high as you can.
What has changed?
Ihre Körper sind durch geheimnisvolle Fernwirkung miteinander verbunden.
What has changed our dance?
How does it look to you to see it now from the
For sure,
outer?
it's a movie. It's always a big difference between the space and the experience when you listen by yourself and are related to the other people, like in the one scene where they dance together. So that's for sure now became an image and a kind of advertisement or something like this. But I'm quite pleased because it's so. I have the impression that people are very in it and really that the performance opens a new space for them, where they can get at least some agency together again in this situation where you can't be an audience anymore in the traditional sense. So this is very, very nice for us.
Yeah.
And especially I'm very hopefully was visible how different approaches were and that how they at the same time come together in this one space or in this different spaces, which because it's not only one space, it's I think a lot of spaces.
Yeah, it's
within each
layering
other.
a lot of realities because there's different voices. Let's go to the beginning. So dissemination everywhere. Let's start with the name.
No, sure. Actually, dissemination or dispersion was for us the kind of starting point of our work. So even our first works worked with a dispersed audience in public spaces as a kind of empowerment to do things you can't do alone. And also for sure as a critique of the classical phallogocentric order, for sure. And radio was a good means to do that. But actually for the last 10 years we didn't take too much thought about it anymore because we did it and it was there. But during the lockdown we realized, okay, it's now a different situation. The theaters are closed. It's not possible to use the stage anymore. And the public spaces there, and especially not used during the lockdown. So we were kind of, okay, it's, and for sure we had the social distancing as a kind of rule, and where we thought, okay, there were so many people against it and say, hey, that's a bad thing, or the mass is now dispersed and can't do anything anymore. And we were saying, no, that's not true. We said that 20 years ago, we will say it again, or try to say it again, but in a different way, because this is, I think, the first work where we worked with so many other artists together, which also came from the lockdown, where we had the impression that since the borders are closed, we have really to cross the borders. That was really the main desire.
Yeah, and you found this way of inviting artists from all over the world to participate in a common structure, where they had the freedom of giving instructions and then sending it to you. And how many artists did you have? 13 in the end?
13 artists, but 12 positions to say. So 12 countries or 12 cities where they're from.
Right. And so they are all sent you little audio clips of instructions of what the audience should be doing.
So we gave them a kind of frame, also content-wise, like what the questions are we had. So how are the bodies, or how change dance or change the bodies during the Corona time, and how does it change, and especially how to establish a different solidarity, or if we should think about a different way of acting in solidarity. But what they were doing, it was for sure their own decision. And then we had, actually we didn't edit too much. For sure we had to bring it in a line and had to discuss with them sometimes. But and this was because they were also in a way dispersed. So the pieces gathering all these different positions, all these very different concepts of dance, of performance. which is, I'm not sure how people who are reading it, but for us it was great to have this very different approaches, where you think, they are, in a way, they are not in this, they couldn't be in the same piece in a way, but for us it works well, and very, very, and it's an interesting experience, very dense in a way, so it's like an hour, but you feel it more like 45 minutes.
Right. Well, it looks like from the video clip that the audience was really into it, that it wasn't too hard, it's not choreography that everybody cannot do? Is it for everyone?
That was one of the preconditions we told them, that for sure it's the audience. They are not trained dancers. It should be simple and at the same time it can be conceptually difficult. So it's really, I think, it doesn't have to be too simple. But for sure, you must. The main thing was really that people could listen to it and understand it in a way that it's not boring. Because when you don't know what to do, then you stand there and say, I'm just standing. That's no use. But more really to take into consideration that the audience is there and related to the voice, which is not there, and which is an intimate situation because you have the headphones, you are with this voice, you are becoming in a way the dancer, but in a way, so it's more like that you always can decide, no, I can't do that. I can't go on my knees. It's
no, I cannot.
But at the same time, in the very beginning, Ben Girard from Australia is saying this audio is meant for all bodies, and we take this very seriously. So we put it in the beginning that we say, okay, it's always when you can't do, it's no problem. You can always try to find how to relate to it, and how to relate to the situation.
Yeah. Yeah, I was trying in my speech today to underline that power that the audience members have this time to really reinterpret the instructions. And if they are anarchists, like some people are, they can just, throw the instructions away and find their own dance.
Yes.
But it is kind of a way into your own body in this very special moment. How do you feel it yourself? Like you were saying, we were reaching out for people because you wanted to know how they are experiencing this time in their bodies, in their different societies. How do you feel about that yourself?
Concerning the
pandemic and the isolation and the social distancing, because this was one of the starting points for your piece.
No, actually, which for me interesting is that most of the artists didn't relate to their specific situations, which were in most countries much more horrible than here. So in South Africa, they had a very long lockdown. The condition in Brazil is well known, but also countries like Japan are difficult. So, but they were really more translating this into a bodily experience, which I find very compelling, because you are there and you know in a way it's not only about your body now, but also in this relation to the situations in the world, to these voices which can travel, or only can travel now by audio and by mail, but not really, so that people cannot come here.
Yeah. It's interesting. I wonder if there is big differences how people experience this in different cultures, and I'm sure they do. It was clear for us in the beginning when we started calling the artists that the most prepared artists for the crisis were the people coming from those countries where the crises are coming one after another. Instead of us here in the Western world, we're quite safe, thinking, we can do it. We just wait and this will go over. We have never experienced anything like this. Yeah. So then we had to very fast act and start to think, what can we do that doesn't put our audience or our artists into danger, but still being able to support them and be there for them. If nothing but a sparring partner, to have somebody to talk to and being caged by somehow, like just do something. Because the worst thing is not to do anything. Whatever we do is better than doing nothing. When did you realize? I mean, we were very happy to learn about this work and work together with the other festivals to make this happen. When did you come up with the idea? How early on did you realize that you have to, so actually, you might have a chance to do something?
Friends of us asked us really in the very beginning of the lockdown already, hey, this is a situation for you, you should do something. And especially the starting point was there were a lot of demonstrations for the refugees and against the camps at the borders of the European Union. And they were very repressed in Germany. And so we thought, okay, that's bad, and we should perhaps provide something. But then there were also these kind of anti-corona measurements demonstrations in Germany, which were kind of very strange, and also people from the theater scene participated and used it as a new stage, which was even more scary. So it took really like 2 months to, so many events happened so fast that we realized, okay, we have to slow down. We shouldn't relate immediately, but also find a different way of and then in April, we started to realize that we also shouldn't do the work alone. So we need in a way help. We need this kind of communication. We need different voices. We need this coming together of voices which talk with each other in a strange way. So for example, we were it was very interesting to see how several motives or especially gestures came up once and again. So and without being too repetitive, but really was obviously a kind of unconscious relation between the different contributions, which was a great experience actually to see that there's something common, even if it's very different.
Right. Yeah. And so this will be in Ufer Studios tomorrow.
Yes.
We have a rain check, unfortunately. If there is a bad weather, we cannot do this dance together tomorrow if it's raining. I am afraid.
You can bring umbrellas.
You can bring umbrellas. Maybe we have an umbrella revolution in the in the Ufer Studios.
That was also a very difficult thing, because for sure, when we started this project, we wanted to do it in public space and really as an intervention in the public situation, to open a different space in a different public in the discourse. But for sure now there's so many orders and things are changing so fast that we thought, okay, now we are kind of happy to have this kind of more secure space where the audience is really with itself and can experience itself as an audience.
Yeah, I think now is the time to really look all possibilities. It's like, again, if we cannot enter the public space, then we rather enter a semi-public space than not do anything at all. I mean, this was the choice that we had to do, yes, just to be able to engage our audiences and show that, yes, something is happening. And we were very happy with your proposal also, because one of our first instincts was that we will work with the minimum risk. And the minimum risk proved to be quite a challenging limit for us how to work. But I think limits are always good, because they really make you push you out of your comfort zone and think out of the box. And this is why we are in the studio today, which is it's like imitating community TV or something like that. So it's something totally different. And also we were very happy that there was this solidarity aspect in it, because we were also looking for ways to support artists from far who are in much worse situation than our artists, who don't have the safety nets. And this became clear in this process too. So we were very happy to do this.
We are also very glad to have this kind of practical solidarity, also to distribute money, to really, to change the situation, because for sure it's here we have in Germany there's at least some support from the state, but in so many countries there isn't any support. So it's really
and we are codependent. Where the one doesn't exist with the other, so it's good that we could at least in a very little way, and it's never enough, but just for the sake of it, to be in contact and try to create something positive out of this, these times which have some negative vibes around us now.
And then at least to experience this interdependency or this relation to each other, even if they are far away, there's this relation. I think this is a very important thing for the future, because for sure the nation states have no interest to do that.
Right.
So I think there's a different movement necessary.
Exactly. I think this is one of the takeaways from these experiments, that we realized that there is things that we could have done also before, but we have prioritized otherwise. Yes. So it is time for new priorities for sure inside the performing arts So the future is full of challenges, but full of chances also to make things better and more fair.
Hopefully.
So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for inviting us.
And we'll see you tomorrow in the Ufer studios. And now we will take a contact to Philadelphia, where Jaamil Olawale Kosoko, a Nigerian-American artist, is waiting eagerly to join us here. He will have his online event on Sunday, so we will talk briefly about it now. And maybe Jaamil is there already. Oh my God, you look good.
I wore my good number for this.
I feel like I'm not dressed enough for you. I did put some golden earrings, so.
I mean, you do have a lip. I appreciate a nice lip. You know that.
Thank you.
Yes, yes.
So, how are you doing? We are eager to, to see what will happen on Sunday. Can you tell us a little bit, our audience who might not quite know what it means when they enter the American Chameleon Living Installments 2.0? Oh, sorry. Oh my God, I made a mistake.
No, you're fine. You're fine. American Chameleon, I guess, what can I say for folks? It's, in a lot of ways, it's an experiment, it's an expose. It's very much an invitation into my interiority in a lot of ways. I make so much work that is very personal, and as a way, through the personal, through this, this kind of interiority, to speak to, larger socio-political issues, and it just felt, like the perfect time, really, to share this work, to share this particular experiment that I'm calling American Chameleon. Very much a kind of extension from my podcast, American Chameleon, and yeah, it's a way of sort of enlivening and creating a larger sort of global community around this idea of what it means to be a chameleonic body as a means of survival in the world.
Yeah. When I was in New York in January, I was privileged to witness the original idea, the performance that this is based on, and we were looking forward to bring you over. But likewise. As things are as they are, so here we are. But you were very, very quick to go from stage version, which had a different name, and I'm going to stumble in the second word.
I can help you with it before you stumble.
Yeah, do you want to say it?
Sure, chameleon biomythography.
Right. And this was partly biographical material, film, multimedia, a performance with poetry, really, really beautiful, already in January. And then you very fast moved from theater into the online world. Can you tell us a little bit what and why and how you came into this conclusion that you can put this forward in a totally different way?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pivot, but the work had already been existing inside of a kind of multiplicity. Whenever I take on a project, I am trying to think about a number of ways that audiences can engage with the work. So whether it was the podcast or the visual album or the live production or the syllabus, I try to think in a myriad of ways that ideally will allow folks to experience the work however they can. I never take for granted that only a theater-going audience will engage with my work or my practice. We live in the 21st century, and themes of digitality at the intersection of theatricality and reality, but this sort of digital theatrical sort of union had been a question and a sort of mode of experimentation that I've been working in, ever since. I mean, actually before hashtag Negrophobia, but it really sort of began taking shape, when we made the European premiere in Berlin in 2016 at Tanz im August. And so these have been questions that I was already inside of and really sort of grappling with. And so transitioning the work into this sort of online format, it only really asked me to consider another part of myself. It's well, not even another part. What it did was ask me to pull together all the various parts of myself, really. And when I say that, I mean the educator, the curator, the poet, the performer. I mean, it really kind of is asking for me to use all of my chops in all of these different arena, and just pull it all together and create a sort of proposal that hopefully, yeah, will be important, and people can really, learn something and feel something from. That's my intention.
And this event will be on a gaming platform. People have to download a gaming app, Discord, to join to get the full experience of it.
To get an experience of it.
Well, I was told I have to go to Discord and not, because you can also go to YouTube and look at the stream. But to be able to be interactive, to really understand that you can engage as an audience member also, that this is available in this format.
Yes, of course, of course. And Discord sort of came into being because Zoom I was experiencing a huge fatigue with Zoom chatting and just as a format, and so I knew, like, whatever I do, I wanted to concentrate in sound and voice and in listening, and so that's how Discord came into being. One of the engineers that I was working with at Impact, Ryan Jenkins, suggested that we use this as a way to just communicate during a technical residency. And I was like, oh, I really like this. This can be something else. This can be something more. And so we kept working on it, and it became an amazing opportunity to work literally cross time zones, cross various regions, and allowed folks from LA to New York, and other parts of the globe to engage with us in real space and time. Well, not real space, but a kind of alternative digital space and time. And yeah, and it's been an amazing, an amazing ride, to say the least. It was a lot of work, and I'm really appreciative. I just have to say that I know your team and the team at Tanz im August somehow is working tirelessly to do this thing. So yeah, I'm so appreciative.
Well, I have to say the learning curve is quite deep here now. We are learning new things by the day, but it's all for the better, I would say. It's called second edition. What is new in this? If there's any online now listening to your talk who were there for the first time, so what would be different now in the second time?
What's different the second time? Well, I mean,
there's new material.
Everything, really. The first installment really centered in themes of the environment, Earth Day. It really was sort of, I mean, we were just wrapping our heads around what this COVID reality even meant, and what the implications would be. Quite honestly, I was recovering from a nervous, we'll call it a nervous breakthrough. And so there was just a number of like intersectional grievances, really, that I had been experiencing, and that I think many of us were trying to make sense of. You know, I thought the apocalypse had arrived. I thought the world was ending, and
Yeah.
I just didn't know. You know, and so I was scared out of my wits. And it was really creating this project in a lot of ways that not only that, you know, it kept me sane, and also really gave me something to, I mean, just to move towards, really. You know, because when you feel as if literally, you know, this would not be the first time for me that yeah, death had sort of looked me straight in the eyes. And so, you know, trying to figure out, you know, how do I find a way to move forward, you know? And this is coming, you know, I lost a friend, you know, my dear friend Marcus White, from this, you know, and it was just, it was a lot. It was a lot happening
Yeah.
in this moment. And so the work really became a way um, to delve in, to collaborate with this amazing team, and really center themes of the earth and the environment, and listening. You know, what does it mean to kind of engage in this global gesture of listening? And so, you know, that event, it was awesome, and it happened. And basically we've sort of taken that as a sort of beginning point, and we've expanded it. So, you know, with the premiere that's happening on Sunday, you know, I have the pleasure of being in conversation with Ebony Noel Golden, who's someone who I absolutely adore. We will have a conversation on memory and what it means to remember, you know, as we think about and think through the International Day of Remembrance, and the abolishment of the transatlantic
Which is
slave
Sunday.
trade,
So this is the
which is
Sunday when we are doing the event. It's the International Day for Remembrance of the Slave Trade and its abolition. So it's a very special day. And it's a special day thinking what's going on in America now with the Black Lives Matter. And maybe the elections will give us some hope. Let's hope so.
I mean, all we can do is hope, you know? All we can do is hope.
No.
If Americans can do anything,
they are very good at that. Yes.
They're really good at hoping. That's the truth, you know. So,
yes.
Yeah, so we're gonna hope. But I just want to say, you know, not only is it an important day, but it's important that we remember this entire month, really. You know, this is known as Black August in various parts of the world, and it's known as Black August because there were so many and integral events that took place, you know, in the month of August. You know, from the moment the first ships carrying enslaved Africans arrived in the U.S. in 1619, you know, in August. Nat Turner's Rebellion in August. The March on Washington in August.
That's awesome, yeah.
I mean, there's just, you know, the government, the U.S. government literally dropping bombs on people in Philadelphia in 1978 in August. And so, you know, this is a deeply important and spiritual moment, you know, in Black life, and I just think we have to, and world culture, you know, that we know that. So I just wanted to hold that up and hold space for that as well.
Yeah, we are very happy that we come together in this special day. And as said, like, we cannot be here live together, but somehow through this we're really connected very wide and reaching out to people who wouldn't otherwise be reachable. So it has its ups and downs, but I mean the good thing is that that we're still here and that you put so much energy into doing this work, even we failed to be the work that was planned for so long. I feel like we were waiting for this work to realize, seeing a few times the works in progress in the last years. I was so much hoping to be able to bring it, but such is life. And this event is going to be 3 hours, 2-3 hours long. And so we are asking the audience to really look into our webpage to see how to get in. If you are insecure, you can also, I think there's a rehearsal tomorrow, which means that you can practice. None of us can do this without practice, so you can practice how to move in Discord tomorrow outside the context of the performance, and so that you are fluent in this when you go online on Sunday. But as said, for those who don't have this possibility, it's also available in YouTube as a stream, so both versions are available. Yeah. So good to see you, Jaamil. Yeah.
Also the world premiere of my new film, Chameleon.
Exactly. I thought I asked about it, but
yes.
Yes. So that's the new thing. Yes.
That is
so
the new thing, is the world premiere of that film.
Yes. Lovely. That's so great. So thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for dressing up for us. It's an opening. You are properly dressed for it.
I came ready. I try to come ready. I have my glass. You can't see my glass, but I have.
Oh, we can and we cannot. Oh, your glass. Okay.
My glass, and I'm just, I'm gonna, I'm good. I'm safe. I'm on my virtual island, and I'm gonna enjoy the festival.
Okay, so lovely. See you tomorrow and on Sunday, and be safe in your island. It looks really great, though. Wish I was there with you.
I'm about to jump in.
Lovely.
Yeah. It's good
so
to
thank
see
you for thank you for this chat, and take care and be safe, and we'll talk later.